as America okay? Hello world.
Friends, my name is Shoe-on-Head, and welcome to my new series, The Hell World Report. Some of you may remember my old series that was just called Hell World. If you do, you can qualify for a veterans discount.
Hell
Congratulations!
World.
And if you remember the Gamergate days, well, please come collect your retirement. But yeah, if you have not seen my old series, go check it out. I will put the link to the playlist down below. I think it's a really interesting time capsule into the years 2020 and 2021, like how crazy it was back then, and then in retrospect comparing it to how crazy it is now. But this is a shorter, more condensed version of that series. Think of it as a Temu, Jon Stewart, or Stephen Colbert before they morphed into the same flavor of shitlib.
Oh yeah, the Stephen Colbert. I liked him back in the day when he had his like he wasn't too political. He just made jokes on politics. That is so much more digestible than when people just go down the rabbit hole of politics. It's enjoyable to just watch someone and laugh at the state of the world than to watch someone and be disgusted at the state of the world. Let me wave. Let me wave. Hello. I'm live right now. My brother-in-law. Yeah. Yeah. Just gotta wave. Just gotta wave.
You see, I'm better than those late night Jimmies because I don't get my news from mainstream sources like some kind of hack. No. I get them from far more reputable places like Instagram Reels and FemboyGroiper69 on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what's funny is like people are starting to get their information from other news outlets. Like the damage that was done in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, was done because of Nick Shirley, who's a YouTuber. Went there, found the fraud. It was blatantly obvious, made like a 30-minute video on it, and ever since then, Minneapolis turned into a war zone. Turned into an absolute war zone. And the fact that we got that from a YouTuber, not these massive news outlets, not these, you get your real information from like people who are just in the world being honest about what they see.
From furry ballrooms and the Epstein files to OnlyFans green cards and kidnapping foreign leaders, from government-funded purple-haired girlfriends to a potential civil war, we have a very packed show for you today. It has been a crazy year, and it is only January. As I am filming this, we are currently having a huge winter storm.
This morning, snow, ice, and frigid temperatures sweeping across the nation. 20 states under a state of emergency.
Ah yes, perfect weather to make some poor immigrant deliver me chicken tendies. It's so cold that Michigan and Minnesota received reports about exploding trees. Leftists said no more ice, and God said... Anyway, in news that should have stayed in 2016, apparently there is a new term women have coined called man-keeping. Man-keeping is why women are done with dating. Researchers at Stanford have finally given a name to something many women have been dealing with for years. It's called man-keeping, and it's helping explain why so many women are stepping away from dating altogether.
Man-keeping describes the emotional labor women have to end up doing in heterosexual relationships? Wait, what? Emotional labor.
Man-keeping describes the emotional labor women end up doing in heterosexual relationships. It goes beyond remembering birthdays or coordinating social plans. It means being your partner's one-man support system, managing his stress, interpreting his moods, holding his...
Of course. Absolutely. We don't go to our guy friends and gush out all of our... the reason why we get a woman in our life, like me, I'm a complete... brick when it comes to like emotion. However, my wife can sniff out my emotions underneath that I don't even know are there. That I don't even know are there. That's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, I'm being kept by my wife. There's nothing wrong with that. Man keeping. I thought it was called being in a relationship. That's literally what I thought it was. But no, there's a term for it.
Hand through feelings he won't share with anyone else. All of it unpaid, unacknowledged, and often unreciprocated. I hate this therapy speak people talk with nowadays. Emotional labor? You mean being there for your...
Toxic masculinity? Yes. Yes. Only having your wife to rely on. Only confiding in your wife. Having your wife be your sole emotional tether in the world. That apparently is male toxicity. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I don't mind if my wife has like other outlets to vent her emotions, because for me, I don't even understand my own. She understands mine.
partner. This is why so many people are just gonna start dating ChatGPT. People thought men were gonna be the ones dating AI. No, no. They're gonna be the ones with these sex robots. Women are the
Yes, the sexual bots will be for guys. The ChatGPT AI boyfriends are gonna be for the women. That's the future of humanity. And then the way we force to reproduce is people are gonna have to give up their eggs. Women are gonna have to give up their eggs, and guys are gonna have to give up their sperm count and everything. So it could be made in an oven, and then these kids would basically be printed out, as it were. Sure, they're grown in there. They'll be printed out with a mix between, and then they'll end up being put into a labor camp, like a school learning labor camp, because they won't have parents to take care of them. They'll just have robotic nannies. That's gonna be the future of the US and then the future of the world, because most people can't seem to understand the simplicities of just a regular classic relationship. It's too much work for them.
ones who want the daily affirmation.
Yeah, like Joaquin Phoenix and her. However, it would be a woman that falls in love with the AI voice, and he would just get a sex bot.
Machines. Yes, honey, I love when you talk about all the drama at work. Tell me more about that bitch, Veronica. Man-spreading, mansplaining, man-interrupting, man-keeping, manscaping. Speaking of manscaping, before we dive into the news, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, a sponsor that can help you with your manscaping, Henson Shaving.
Men will be happy with bots than narc women. Yeah, yeah. The thing is, like, I've always had this weird thing where it's... need a clean shave. Where women have the ability, not all women, but especially like in the West, where they just talk about their everything about a person they're in a relationship with. Sure, guys do the exact same thing, and it's absolutely disgusting as well. The thing is, I think it's different when you're in a relationship or when it's like a one-night stand. When it's a one-night stand, I think a lot of people are like, okay, not as big of a, they don't see it as that big of an issue when they start talking, because it's like both people go into it transactional. But when it's like a relationship, an actual relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, then it becomes a huge problem. An absolutely huge problem. Because you're committed to that person, and then you're spreading secrets about that person to others that they don't want you to know. The whole thing's disgusting. The whole thing's absolutely disgusting, but you never know. You never know. Yeah, but this is apparently a shaving ad. A shaving ad.
Dollars per year on blades, compared to the ongoing cost
still
of
going.
buying those little...
Yeah, but the whole thing is really weird. The whole thing is really weird how there's always men are wrong. Men are the issue. Men are always the issue, apparently. But it's trying to course correct for when men had all the power, except in like truly loving relationships. Men had all the power, and now it's going to where women just don't want to be with the man, which is completely the wrong direction.
Now, let's get back to the video. All right, let's start with some good news. The median age of home buyers is now 59. But that's not all. America's seniors will now see a new $6,000 bonus exemption as part of the Working Families Tax Cut. That's $93 billion in tax cuts for seniors all over the country. And by Working Families Tax Cut, they mean you, the working family, giving another billion-dollar wealth transfer to the most oppressed class. Boomers. Why are we giving these geriatric another tax break? Maybe...
I was wondering where she was going to go with that. They're giving money to the people who have already worked their entire lives, and are the majority of them all have worked hard enough, all have retirement, all have the rest of their lives paid for because they worked hard for it. But the fact that that's where she went with that, I wasn't expecting. I was just like, oh, okay, that sounds good. Then she's going to mention the fact that like I'm supposed to be getting money this year. Because the big, beautiful bill. I'm supposed to be receiving something. If it ever actually happens. We'll see. We'll see. But I was like, no. It's about the $6,000 every year given to these old fogies.
They should pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Maybe they should stop buying so much avocado toast. God forbid we help young families raise the next generation of Americans. No, that would be communism. Young people are poor as nowadays. What are they supposed to do?
Piper Raquel, 18, claims she made $2.9 million in a single day after launching OnlyFans.
Yep. Society's ruined. Society in the West is absolutely ruined. The thing is, this is like 1 out of a million a couple 100 million, and then the next girl's gonna think like, oh, I'm gonna be the next one to make $1 million overnight. And then they end up ruining their lives and the rest of their future because those videos, as soon as things are online, they are online for eternity.
No more rights. No more women's rights. I am ready for the Islamic Revolution. Mayor Memdani, please press the Islamification button. I know the go-to joke is always, haha, women, am I right? But I think the real question here is, should men be allowed to have credit cards? This woman didn't magically create millions of dollars with her mind out of thin air. No, millions of...
Yep, that is true. That is absolutely true. Like, people shouldn't have credit cards. People honestly shouldn't have credit cards. They're paying money for something that has no value in the first place. Let's be honest. But it's like the oldest profession. It's always, and people always argue, no, prostitution is the oldest profession in the world. It's nothing but something that's added on. It's not really important to live. It's not any of the real top of the pyramid necessities to live in life. It's like a comfort. And the fact that you pay for a comfort means it's the oldest job in the world. It really is. It really is.
Men made this woman a millionaire overnight. Where's the accountability for that? I'm out here policing the whores. We need some men to be out there policing the simps. We have a simp epidemic. Simps are out of control. Not all of them, though. Mine are cool.
Well, the issue is the simp... her simps are cool. Yeah, the issue is, like, the simp epidemic really happened because the feminism really pushed a narrative which honestly should have never been pushed, where it's devaluing men. Men are the problem. So what are men gonna do? Well, they don't want to talk to women in real life, so they'll rather just pay for images than to have to deal with the annoyance of having a relationship. Because to them, it's just about how they are wrong. They're the issue. The men, if it was only women in the world would have world peace. You know, that other nonsense, which makes no sense.
They can stay. Also, isn't this like the third OnlyFans?
More than money, positive relationship makes life easier. Yes, it does. It does. It absolutely does.
18th birthday announcement, and the woman turns into a millionaire overnight. Someone a little sus about that. But don't worry, thanks to AI, we are entering a new age of goonerism. Honestly, what's the big deal? Men are already talking to the guys in India who run the accounts of OnlyFans models. Is this real?
It's the next step. Make an account like that, and then guess what? You are gonna be the one with all the money.
Any different? The internet is slowly but surely just becoming Indian men scamming other Indian men. But don't worry, not every internet waifu is a man using AI. In fact, if you live in the UK, you may get a state-funded, far-right, purple-haired waifu. Introducing Pathways, a point-and-click video game created by...
This game came with the wrong message. Absolutely. Everyone now is backing Amelia, who was supposed to be like the far-right Nazi, which believes in like patriotism, like your nation is your own and you need to defend it from like foreigners taking it over. That's who Amelia was. And everyone agreed with that when the nation was trying to create censored propaganda where, oh no, Amelia's the bad person. You need to go to re-education if you think she's a good person. And then it just blew up.
The UK government to help prevent online radicalization.
Pathways is an educational visual novel and learning experience created by the UK media company Shoutout UK, with funding from UK government's Prevent program run by the Home Office. The game is meant to teach the youth about dangers of radicalization and extremism.
Damn, I never imagined you'd be watching Shu. Welcome to the club. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, she's kind of left-leaning, but at least she's reasonable in her stances. Yeah. Like, I think the worst part for her was when, during Charlie Kirk's assassination, she felt like she was in an island at that point. Because, like, the people she felt was on her side were praising such a heinous act, and she's like, well, it's absolutely disgusting. Why are you... And like, that was one of the most tragic things for her, because I saw her video and she was like wanting to break down and cry, because it's just like, when you think you have friends and then realize that they're absolute monsters, it must be insane. Absolutely insane. A difficult situation. But yeah, I mean, I've always seen her clips here and there, like a few things she has to say. This is my first time actually checking out a full video of hers.
In both real life and online. This is done by putting the players in a role of a character named Charlie, who must navigate 6 different scenarios relating to extremism. In the second scenario, the player is introduced to the character Amelia, a staunch anti-immigration protester depicted as a goth girl with purple hair, a pink dress, and a choker.
And
Amen. How can that possibly go wrong? How can that possibly go wrong? Nationalist pride. There's nothing wrong with being having pride in your nation. Having pride in your nation. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You need to be happy for your people. You need to be happy when you see progress for your nation. And you need to feel anger when you see things, people in their own nation basically being oppressed or discriminated against or things like that. You absolutely do. Can you watch the video about Indian genetics? I sent it short, about 5. Okay. I'll probably add it in a minute and then check it out. I'll add it in a minute, check it out. I wanted to check this out because it popped up.
Internet instantly fell in love with her.
AI.
It's like they made her have short purple hair, thinking that that would prevent this from happening. But the UK failed to consider the fact that conservatives love art hoes. They act like they don't, they'll deny it, they'll pretend they just want a blonde traditional housewife.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm conservative, I guess. I'm more center than anything, but I'm conservative in some of my views. But it's absolutely funny. Yes, my wife is. It's absolutely funny because I went to an art school. I wanted to study film. That's what I wanted to study. And then I'd see all these people. They're absolutely crazy, mentally ill, out of their mind women. Out of their mind women. And then they create one of those women, but apparently for the nation. It's like, oh, that's a completely different thing.
Deep down, every conservative wants a woman who looks like this, who says the N-word. Government-funded video games. Incredible. At least our government doesn't do weird shit like that. No, our government is very normal. Believe it or not, Mar-a-Lago
What the freak was that?
says the N-word. Government-funded video games. Incredible. At least our government doesn't do weird shit like that. No, our government is very normal. Believe it or not,
That was disgusting. Okay, some people aren't happy with being human.
Mar-a-Lago furry party was on my 2026 bingo card. I miss when this weird shit was just done underground. I miss when these parties were secret. Speaking of, the Epstein files were released. Wow. Incredible. The things they are showing us are eerie enough. I couldn't imagine the things that they're redacting. It is absolutely disgusting that these powerful people are still being protected.
Yes, exactly. I've been saying that. Nothing's going to happen to them, though. They have enough money to basically donate enough of it because they've seen their wrongs that nothing's going to happen.
We as a country should be extremely concerned about an international child trafficking ring. This is not just something we all move from, and we kidnapped the president of Venezuela.
Breaking just now, Maduro, the president says, has been captured.
Maduro has been captured and flown out of the country.
In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night.
First pictures of Nicolas Maduro on the Iwo Jima that he was being transferred on.
Trump voters voted to fix the economy and to afford homes again. They didn't vote to kidnap communists in the middle of the night. Actually, they probably did vote for that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, they did.
The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take.
Yep. By taking the oil, it's going to bring down American prices and end up flooding America even more. It's in the end, yes, kidnapping Maduro is a huge boon for America.
Back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago.
Holy shit. This is the most transparent administration in history. They weren't lying. I don't know if it's the Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's just like people will say, oh, they just did it for the oil. They just did it for the oil. Nobody ever said they didn't. Yeah, Maduro looks like Dr. Disrespect. I saw that meme.
Or what, but it's almost refreshing to hear a leader say, yeah, this is about oil. Like, thank you, sir. Thank you for just saying it's about oil. Thank you for not pretending.
Yeah, instead of the BS about, oh, this. Yes, the nation is happier for right now, but in 5 to 10 years, maybe they'll change their tune. But as of right now, they're happy. We get the oil. Everyone's happy. And we didn't lie about our reasons.
It's about saving democracy and just doing imperialism the old-fashioned way. We have such terrible Middle Eastern war fatigue that it was shocking to not hear about how Venezuela is just jealous of our freedoms or some shit. Like, no, it's just for ExxonMobil. Like, okay, carry on.
The US used a powerful mystery weapon that brought Venezuelan soldiers to their knees, bleeding through their nose and vomiting blood during the daring raid to capture dictator Nicolas Maduro.
Yeah, if you're wondering why we don't have healthcare, this is why. We have invisible laser beams that can make people bleed out their f***ing eyes. Apparently, directed energy weapons are real. The Goy beam is real. Deep state pedophiles are real. Havana syndrome is real. Hell, it's almost like being a conspiracy theorist is just another word for being correct too early.
Like I said, these conspiracies have been around forever, but most of the time they're all centered in some kind of truth. All you need to do is put on a tinfoil hat, think of the craziest thing that might possibly happen. Because it's funny, I was joking with my wife like about what is the Aryans? It was like nobody ever really says where they come from, where they come from, where they come from. I'm almost tempted to just say they were aliens that popped in. That were beamed down on Earth. It was their punishment, kind of like Australia was back in the day. Earth was a punishment for aliens. They'd send their worst people here. Like you end up getting into these conspiracy theories, and then years down the road, it's just like, huh, some of that was actually true. Some of that was actually true.
What's next? COVID was fake?
There have been significant developments in the last 5 to 7 years on social, environment, and technology fronts that could help realize My Carbon initiatives for shaping the future toward smart and sustainable cities. COVID-19 was the test of social responsibility. A huge number of unimaginable restrictions for public health were adopted by billions of citizens across the world. There were numerous examples globally of maintaining social distancing, wearing masks, mass vaccinations, and acceptance of contact tracing applications for public health, which demonstrated the core of individual social responsibility.
So it's fake. It's like, oh, this is the article about how it was fake. It was all institutionalized to control the people.
Oh, sorry. I just owe many people many apologies. Anyway, Venezuela has no president. Who is going to run Venezuela?
So
America.
we are going to run the country.
A few
Yeah.
moments later.
Hola amigos, yo soy su nuevo presidente, el señor Donald J. Trumpo.
Can we maybe just fix our country first? Can we fix our broken infrastructure, our
Yes, thank
education
you.
system? Can we do a little nation building in this nation? Can a bitch get a little regime change in our own country, please? And you know, with modern American nation building comes refugees. So who is gonna take in these Venezuelan refugees? Are we? Only the hot ones, apparently.
United States increasingly issuing work visas to OnlyFans models based on level of audience reach, according to the Financial Times.
Imagine being an immigrant from like some poor country, working your ass off to get a work visa in the United States. When
And then all you need is to be attractive. All you need is to be attractive. I mean, then people are not going to start complaining.
all you had to do was bend over and show hole. Big booty Latinas to the front, tortas to the back. Anyway, no, boo-boo, my president can kidnap your president. We're invincible. We can regime change anyone we want. Who's next? Canada, Greenland, Cuba? Cuba's literacy rates are higher than ours. Maybe they should come liberate our dumbasses. Kids are swiping on books. But f it, the Don Roe Doctrine, baby. Let's go. America is back. Dick Cheney is looking up at us smiling.
You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship. Their days are numbered.
Trump, listen to me. Wait, Trump doesn't watch this shit. Vance, listen to me. Get people like Lindsey Graham far away from anyone in power right now. This little Venezuela stunt was cute, but we are not touching any other country. We're not touching the Middle East, especially. No more Middle East. We all have Middle East fatigue. We are done. This whole thing really put into perspective just how weird it was that we were there like for 20 years. We could have just been in and out in a few hours. I guess those poppy fields couldn't maintain themselves though. Anyway. Yeah, sorry, excuse me. But did you forget to check in with Lilith, the barista from Bushwick, and see how she feels about this?
Trump said the United States will be running Venezuela. Whoa, a colony. Whoa, imperialism. All for what? So a fucking multinational corporation can get
So we can get our oil. Yeah, exactly. Free up people so we can get our oil.
profit.
You know what's funny is I basically said the exact same thing this person said, but I said it less loudly. She has a nose ring and I don't, so I'm right and she's wrong. End of story. I guess this is just what happens when you dismantle the soft power of things like USAID. We're no longer doing secret regime change operations behind the scenes. Now we're just straight up kidnapping other world leaders in the dead of night and just saying it's about oil, which honestly kind of makes me believe it's not about oil. They're never that blatant, right? I mean, what could it be? Like, Israel isn't behind this one, right?
The implications here are really great for the Venezuelan people.
Oh, God damn it. You know, people say I have Israel derangement syndrome, but
Freudian slip there. There's just been so much talk about Israel that it was just like, oh, it's not?
sorry, I can't help it when they get on TV and say shit like this.
No, it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. And quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
social media.
should do that.
Try explaining that to someone without showing them the video. Go ahead. Yeah, there's a Jewish billionaire named Shlomo who wants to control the internet. Like, Okay, man, you're in too deep. No more Instagram reels for you. Anyway, you should have just let us play video games. Now we're perp walking the president of Venezuela down the streets of New York City. But hey, let's just think of it this way. By bombing and kidnapping, instead of just doing the usual covert psyops, we saved maybe, what, $1 billion? $1 billion that could go to other, more important things, like defense contractor stock buybacks and empty Somalian daycares, apparently.
This is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley back at a daycare.
MAGA YouTuber. The funny thing is, he isn't even MAGA. He isn't even MAGA. He's probably more center left than anything.
In Minnesota, he alleged was a fraudulent facility in a now viral video. Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares he claims are frauds.
The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers.
It's not like Nick Shirley was the first person to expose this either, but now it exploded. And the fallout has been bizarre, to say the least. The funniest part had to be when the infamous Luring Center claimed to have been broken into the night this all went viral.
Unfortunately, we saw that there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also...
Of course, you get the white Karen just shaking her head in the background. It was like, I'm here to be representation for the white Karens.
checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our...
They confused him with Nick Fuentes, I guess. Yeah, they absolutely did, because he's white. He's white and believes in America. That's why they confuse them. That's why they confuse the two. It's funny that you can't have nuanced takes. If you're for America, you're immediately far right.
This is devastating news.
Oh no, somebody broke into the daycare and stole all the paperwork we needed to prove we are a legit operation. Please ignore my suspicious exact paperwork we need to prove we are a legit operation shaped belly. Listen, no hate to the Somalians, but when my family came here 100 years ago, we did organized crime the right way. We would have had tin walls and cement shoes at the bottom of Lake Superior. This is just sad. This is cartoonishly pathetic. Listen, nobody is gonna want to support government programs if they think it's all going to shit like this. If you want people to support a welfare state, you have to make sure that welfare is actually going to real things that help real people. Listen, it's already hard enough to convince a right-wing audience that there's more to leftism than Reddit and butt sex. Now I have to convince them the wealth redistribution I advocate for isn't all going to Somalian welfare pirates.
Yep.
Thanks. That money should be spent on more important things like New Gaza. That's right, the World Economic Forum and Jared Kushner are proud to present New Gaza. Yes, the demolition project is finally complete, folks. Time to build a Sweet Green and a f***ing Deloitte branch on top of the bodies of thousands of dead children. Hell is not hot enough, ladies and gentlemen. Hell is not hot enough. Anyway, because of all this fraud stuff, Tim Walz is stepping down, which is sad to see because he has to be one of my favorite characters in modern America lore. The first white male DEI hire, the last white dude for Kamala Harris, a dying breed. But hey, maybe this marks an official end to the Kamala Harris era, and we can move on and focus on rebuilding the Democratic Party to something more—
Harris stepping toward another White House run.
No. We are not doing this. No. I swear to God, the Democratic Party is like an old friend addicted to heroin or something. You want to help them, you do everything you can to help them, but they don't listen.
Yeah, they just ruined themselves. For America is equivalent for European Americans only. For fact, white nationalists consider themselves Native American. Well, yeah, the Mormons believe Jesus Christ was originally a white American. Yeah, because America was apparently founded 2,000 years ago, way before 2,000 years ago. Yeah, and the land was lost and then just reclaimed. Literally, that's it.
They keep doing stupid things and hurting themselves, but you just can't give up on them. You can't. You want to see them get better. You know deep down they could be how they used to be, but it's hopeless. And all your other friends keep saying to you, just forget them. Just forget them. It's not worth it. Come hang out with us instead. But those friends are on crack. Those friends are on crack cocaine. But this Minneapolis fraud thing is looking pretty bad for Tim Walz and the Democrats. People aren't just gonna forget about this, and an ICE officer just shot a woman in the face in Minneapolis.
You can hear the agents tell the woman to get out of the car and approach the SUV. The woman then drives forward. That's when the shots are fired, the car crashing.
As I was writing this video, an innocent woman was picking her kids up from school when an ICE officer jumped in front of her car and—
Not true. She had been tailing them for the entire day. She had been disrupting the peace and impeding with law enforcement. And then she drove forward and was sadly shot and killed because she tried to, well, run over using a car as a lethal weapon, a federal officer.
Randomly shot her in the face. Or an angry protester was blocking the road and tried to run over an ICE officer with her car, so he shot in self-defense. Depends on how you look at it. Depends on how you voted, apparently. The way I see it, this woman was not trying to hit him. She was not trying to run him over. I think she was trying to drive away. And in an alternate universe—
But the thing is, she was also told to leave the car. She refused to abide by law enforcement and drove forward. The person in front of the car didn't know which way the tires were going. All he could see was the fact that some ICE officers had been hit by cars previously, so he protected himself. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's this one was very cut and dry. Very cut and dry. You could go at it from any angle. They had requested her to leave the car. It's that simple. It's that simple. If a federal officer or any police officer or anything tells you to do something, guess what? You do it. You do it. And these aren't obviously fake police. They are real officers. And it's just the whole thing. There's no way you can explain it away. You're being told by officers that you're disturbing the peace, that you're about to get arrested, and you decide to drive away.
He dodges the car and she drives away. And it's easy to be like, oh, in hindsight, he should have done this, he should have done that. That's like so much of the discourse right now I'm seeing is just in hindsight this, in hindsight that. And it's easy for us to say in hindsight, you know, after the fact. It's easy to say he could have, he should have, but all he saw was a car revving up and going towards him. This has been one of the most insane political Rorschach tests I've ever seen in my life. It really all comes down to how you view ICE and police officers in general. Many, not all, leftists view ICE as completely illegitimate. Same with the police, they want to abolish both. So you're not going to get a real unbiased conversation with those people. Because why the f should a protester respect ICE in the first place? And many, not all, conservatives tend to be complete and utter fucking bootlickers. Completely unable to criticize anything the police do. ICE can do no wrong. Don't tread on me becomes tread harder, daddy, real fast. This is extremely aggravating discourse, and you should be questioning anyone who takes a really firm, hard stance either way and like can't fathom how the other side is seeing what they are seeing. The first episode of my old Hell World series was actually all about police brutality. It was all about police brutality towards innocent protesters. I was a little more ACAB-y back then. I was a little more lived the f out back then. But hey,
I don't entirely know what that means.
to be fair to me back then, that is what happens when you live in the sheltered suburbs of Long Island in your parents' basement versus having a kid and living in the city for 4 years. The police are a taxpayer-funded HR department for structural violence. They exist solely to protect the rights of private property. Yeah, we need more police. Police are good. Police are great. Give the police more guns. More guns. Give them more guns. Tanks. Tanks even.
Yeah, because it's people who don't even know the situation. Like a lot of those people in Minnesota were traveling there to protest, or they're from the suburbs and not really, and then they'd go to these impoverished areas to look for ICE officers.
My overall opinion is still basically the same. I'm very critical of the police. I am very pro First Amendment. Protesting is a fundamental American right.
Standing in the street is not protesting. That's an obstruction. It's not protesting. Anyone who thinks standing in the street is protesting does not know what protesting truly is.
And we can't just go around labeling protesters domestic terrorists. That is an insane, slippery slope. And if you support that, I promise you will come back to bite you in the ass. So good luck in 2028 when President Newsom knocks you up. Whoa, knocks you up. Whoa, what's going on here? Good luck in 2028 when President Newsom locks you up for protesting against mandatory.
Imagine being a cop where everyone has a gun? Guns? Yeah, I mean, as well, especially when you're completely outnumbered. Because as soon as the state police got involved, guess what? Everything all became civilized. Sure, you still had the loud screechers out in the roads, but now people are actually being arrested and taken to jail cells, which calms down everything.
Forced feminization or whatever the f it is Democrats do. What do they do? Nothing. They do nothing. I don't know. I left this joke blank. Something pronouns. Like, God forbid the state ever turns me into Swiss cheese and the president's like, she was a radical leftist lunatic. The people called her commie mommy. Can you believe that, folks? Commie mommy. Sad. And some people were like straight up mocking this woman, celebrating it. And then when people were like, what the f, they were like, well, you got Charlie Kirk, so now we got one of your guys.
That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting.
Is that what we're doing now? We're just gonna keep killing each other back and forth? Is that what this is now? Like some kind of civil war? Who gets me in the national divorce? Hell yeah, 2 Christmases. Like, you agreed with me when I was upset about the reactions people had about Charlie Kirk, and then you're over here like, boo-hoo, she was a stupid libtard. Honestly, some of you just don't have morals. You have like temporary weapons you can use to bludgeon people you don't like when you have the chance. You and all the people who mock Charlie Kirk are all going in the pit, and you can come out when you learn how to be normal. In my opinion, a lot of focus on illegal immigration should go to the employers employing illegal immigrants for cheaper scab labor. I feel like that's really important, and like, we're not doing that. It's kind of interesting that the government is focused so hard on immigration right now, but like, apparently hasn't made any like real actual legislative change to the laws of immigration. Dragging Jose at a Home Depot.
That's something that needs to be done. Because doing the paperwork, oh my gosh, that is still a headache. To this day, even though I have my wife with me finally, spending 2 years apart having to get everything done, we're still having to go through the entire process in order to get a permanent residency, and then we have to wait for more documents, for interviews, for all that. They need to streamline that. and kick out all these illegal immigrants that don't belong here in the first place.
Might work for now, but they have to be working on something more substantial, right? Well, Palantir, the company named after the evil crystal ball in Lord of the Rings, right, is apparently working on a new tool for ICE. And what does it do? Oh, nothing really. Just creates a map of deportation targets, pulls up a dossier on them, and assigns them a confidence score. Because if there's one thing we can trust, it's a private Silicon Valley tech company's algorithm deciding who gets disappeared. Every single surveillance tool starts by simply protecting us. It's only gonna affect the baddies. But who are the baddies? Today it's illegal immigrants, tomorrow it's furries, next week it's people who are into feet, and before you know it, it's fans of VTubers. You know, on second thought.
No, I don't think the fans of VTubers would ever get. A lot of them tend to be conservative. They just hide their faces because then they'll get completely destroyed.
Don't buy into the propaganda that simply enforcing border security, something every developed country has, is akin to Nazi Germany. Sorry, I don't. Build a wall? Hitler. Deport illegal immigrants? Hitler. Just kick out the criminal ones at least? Hitler. Like, there's no other option besides open borders that is acceptable to some people, and I don't get that. What I do get, however, is that people don't want to live under a Palantir police state, where people can't even film ICE agents without getting put on some kind of f***ing list. I feel like there has to be some kind of normal, sane option.
Well, they have to be off the roads. There's nothing wrong with filming the ICE officers, but they can't be impeding an officer's duty. You can't get in the way of an officer. It's that simple. Everyone knows this stuff. Everyone knows that you just stand on the side of the road. Like, I've done that with my grandfather before. He would have his protests and I'd go and stand on the side of the road. I'd hold up a sign alongside with him, and there was like hundreds of other people, all respectfully just holding up a sign. Sometimes people would honk. So most of the time people would just drive past and not even pay attention. That's what it is. That is just what it is.
Besides total free-for-all globo homo versus Peter Thiel nightmare tech bro dystopia. Like, how is it not possible to just be normal, be normal. But hey, it's cool the DHS created a portal where you can see all the people they have been deporting. One guy was deported back to Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore. We sent that motherfucker back in time. Listen, what happened to Renee Good was a tragedy. It was terrible, but hopefully nothing like this ever happens again. And another person was shot by ICE in Minneapolis.
According to a preliminary Department of Homeland Security report, 2 Border Patrol agents discharged their weapons, seen here in
Yeah, this one's like the tough one. But my mother had seen this, and she's in law enforcement, and she's all like, when it comes to like you're on the ground, you feel threatened. Sure, one officer shouted gun, 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 and you hear it, but he's saying that as he's running away with it. So the other one just pulls the trigger thinking that, oh, it probably means. So there's a lot of interesting situations in this one where an investigation needs to be done. Absolutely needs to be done. But again, he was still in traffic. He was still obstructing justice. Sure, it doesn't demand his life be lost, but there are so many situations in this one. It's not cut and dry like Renee Good. This one is, there has to be a full, thorough investigation onto the situation, because now that the state police are out, everything seems to have calmed down. I hope ICE don't come after you guys. Be safe. Oh, we're fine. We're fine. We do everything. My dad's perfectly safe. He's an immigrant. The sheer stupidity about, oh, they're going after, no, not immigrants. Nobody cares about immigrants. Nobody cares about immigrants who are trying to make a good life. Right now, it's illegal immigrants who have broken the law primarily. It's the ones who have been doing heinous things and shouldn't have been here in the first place. The ones who have violated women, the ones who are scamming people, those illegals are the first to go. Then they'll target the ones who have been here safely. And odds are they'll be taken to a box, investigated, and then probably speed citizenship if they've been here doing decent things for a long period of time, just trying to make a good living. They would rush a citizenship for them. So that way they can get on to people who are actually doing everything by the book, like me and my wife, or like my father did. That's just how it's going to turn out.
graphic cell phone video captured by eyewitnesses. 10 shots fired off in total.
Call ICE if you have fight. you know, there are situations where it's like, not between me and my wife, but it's like, why don't people just report things to ICE when things fall through or don't work out? Because it clearly was all a scam to begin with. Sometimes things are absolutely scams, and it's just like, report them. Report them.
In just seconds, Preddy pronounced dead on the scene.
To be absolutely clear, stuff is still coming out about this as I am filming. Literally, as I am filming, this happened. You know, there's no body cam footage yet, so it could be totally wrong. Totally possible, totally possible. However, first impressions of watching the video at multiple angles, multiple times, Yeah, I think they just fucking murdered that guy. It looks like they took his gun and then shot him. Like 10 officers come over to him, wrestle him to the ground, the agent disarms him, take his gun, they yell gun, 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 and then they shoot him several times in the back. More information could come out, but the compulsive bootlicking I have been seeing...
Yeah, when I looked that up, I was just like, wait a minute, why is everyone just immediately accusing him? Because I saw the video and I'm just like, this looks interesting. But yeah, there are some people who, again, it happens on both sides, where people, no matter what, will just be like, we're right, you're wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it is absolutely disgusting. People need to step back and stop believing in politics as a religion. They need to stop it.
Has been fucking insane.
Why does a nurse feel compelled to go confront ICE armed with a 9mm handgun?
Only one person could have prevented this from happening, and it's Alex Preddy.
Yeah, who goes to a protest and brings a gun? Look, if the
I don't know
government
who
can
that
take
is.
a firearm from you and then kill you because you had a firearm, then nobody actually has a right to own a firearm. If that is how it works, then there's actually no such thing as the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment does not exist. I feel like some people genuinely just forget that police are just people. ICE officers are just people. They're literally just people who work for the government like anyone else. They're DMV employees with guns. They can be stupid. They can be bad. They can make mistakes. Like, I don't know what it is about some people. Like, once someone has a badge, it's like, that person is just a perfect angel and cannot be criticized at all. You're telling me all I have to do to get you fucking people to listen to me is to dress like this? All right, fair enough. Stop gooning.
The gun, the toy gun. Report. The freaking toy gun.
None of this would have happened if ICE agents were being trained better instead of being rushed through the system with little to no training. And if Minnesota just worked alongside ICE to make sure they were doing this in a safe and more effective way instead of just egging on a fucking jihad against them. Also, if ICE's goal is to round up pedophiles and fraudsters, I hear there's a pretty big list of pedophiles and fraudsters that need to be rounded up. Unfortunately, we'll never fucking get to see it.
Yeah, the politicians, the gosh dang politicians.
I'm trying to make this video somewhat funny and entertaining, but I'm not gonna lie, this is really bleak. Is America okay? Can we please go one single day without living through a major historical event, please? And a bunch of new Epstein files just dropped. Great. We're going to war with Iran soon, aren't we? Where was I? This just says Mr. Beast tendies. What? Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is simulating a chicken's body, and the cells are just multiplying. I honestly can't tell the difference. What the heck?
I will not live in a pod. I will not eat the Antichrist lab-grown chicken tendies. Oh, I completely forgot about this. Sorry, I'm not on my Vyvanse today, folks. I forgot to take my normal pills. It wasn't long before the race hustlers took advantage of the terrible Renee Good situation in Minneapolis.
Say Her Name is a movement started by Black women, for Black women specifically, and it's not appropriate to use in regards to Renee Good.
She deserves a hashtag and everything. It should not be Say Her Name. Say Her Name is reserved for Black women.
This is not for any other race. Simple as that.
Say Her Name is specifically reserved for Black women.
Say Her Name is for Black women.
It feels...
Wait, what? What? What the heck is Say Her Name?
Kind of wrong being here in some way. I don't know why.
Why you think, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know why. That's called white guilt, honey. That's the white guilt you're feeling. It's amazing. You can literally be killed by the state for the cause. And these fucking people will still disgrace you for the curse of being born Caucasian. This is very woke 1.0. I thought it was dark woke time.
Nobody forgetting when they're good. She has achieved the highest honor a white person can achieve. Race traitor.
She has achieved the highest honor a white person can achieve. Race traitor. And this type of psychotic rhetoric seems to be working because like 70% of the videos I see of people like trying to disrupt ICE
It popped
has
up
been
in my
white women.
feed.
White women literally throwing themselves at armed officers like lemmings off a fucking cliff for street tacos. What the hell is going on with white women? Who will save the white race?
Ah yes, Hitler's strongest soldiers. A Mexican, a Dominican, a black guy, and a looks maxer.
That looks maxer is none other than Clavicular. Clavicular is a Gen Z influencer and live streamer who got his start within the
And ran somebody over in Florida for standing in front of his car, which is illegal in Florida. You can't just walk in front of a vehicle in Florida.
red pill communities and has recently blown up to mainstream popularity, especially in right-wing circles.
Everybody has slaves throughout human history. Yeah. Even to this day, slavery is still a thing. I hate how people pretend like it's not. It still is. It still is. Even in the U.S., they still have slaves. India was a slave nation to Britain for 200 years, just got its freedom, and was still struggling to fight its way into the limelight for decades. It's like slaves are still a thing. People who feel like they're superior to others are still a thing, like the white pride, or the same thing with like black pride, or like there's a ton of those that where a lot of people feel like they are more important than others just because. And they're all wrong. I'm more important than everybody. I'm joking, but it's just like it's always so stupid. Always so stupid how people think like they are more important, are far better, and it happens on both sides. Again, the horseshoe theory, where no matter what, you all swing to be the same kind of evil. No matter which way, you always become the same kind of evil, hate the same kind of people, talk the same talk, walk the same walk. You just do it a bit differently.
His main claim to fame is looks maxing. Looks maxing, for those of you who are employed, is...
Looks maxing is a term for aggressively maximizing one's physical attractiveness through routines like skincare, facial exercises, mewing, fitness, and sometimes extreme cosmetic procedures. Originating in online incel forums, but popularized on TikTok, focusing on enhancing features like jawline and bone structure.
I personally think it's interesting.
Yeah, to be honest, Indians had... Yeah, slaves, yeah. Every nation has. Every nation has. It just goes out throughout history. Every nation has. No nation is pure and clean and viewing human life as human life. No nation was ever that. Because eventually you get to a point where you can get more comfortable. There were people that you needed to do the worst kinds of tasks. You needed expendable people back in the day. But as we have machines start to take the roles of expendable people, it became more well-balanced, and you could get rid of slaves at that point. We have farming instruments that can do the work of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. You know, I'm just not going to even complete it. I was going to go for a joke, but I'm not even going to complete it. But you see what I mean. I mean, no matter what, you end up getting to that point. The problem is we've gotten so far past that point to where there's so many jobs or so many machines that take the job from people. And there are 8 billion people on this planet. There's so many machines taking the jobs of people that now we need to have systems in place that allow people who are unable to find work to at least get some kind of way to live off of. Not like food stamps where they go to a store and get more food than I can personally buy, but like a loaf. Like a loaf that has all the nutrients, all the vitamins they need throughout the entire day. They get like, go to a place and get one a day. They'll get like a small allowance for like living expensive, or they basically build an entire flat just for these people that are useless in society. That kind of thing. You still have outlets, but they could also go looking for work because there's always jobs to find. Just not everybody wants the jobs. But that's what needs to be done. There has to be something in the middle. You need to do some... mewing? I don't know what that is.
Interesting to see men adopting the insane beauty rituals that women have been doing for decades. But now that a man is doing it, it's seen as psychopathic or gay. A woman will literally spend thousands of dollars on hair, makeup, skincare, peptides, plastic surgery, fillers, Botox, red light therapy, moon water, and we just call her Stacey. But a man does it, and we call him Patrick Bateman. A woman reshapes her entire face with makeup? Normal. A man reshapes his jawline with makeup? Gay. A woman wears a push-up bra to make her tits look bigger? Empowering. A man shoves socks in his shoes to make himself taller? A liar. A woman gets lip filler? Typical. A man smashes his face with a hammer to make his jaw swell up? Okay, yeah, that one's a little insane. One of the looks maxing tips some young men are apparently doing is called bone smashing, where they take a hard object, usually a hammer, and smash the bones in their face to make their face temporarily swell up and allegedly give...
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think that's incredibly disgusting. White men were the first to completely abolish slavery. It's not completely abolished. I mean, you can look at the island as a fact for where they still were located. That's the thing. It's like there's always these tight-knit communities, and it's always everywhere, no matter what. Even if it abolishes it somewhere, there's always going to be a community of people that want the power of having having it. And I don't know why I paused it on a person smashing their face with a hammer, which never do.
them that Chad jawline. Honestly, don't knock it till you try it. Here we go. Perfect. So that concludes this episode of the Hell World Report. If you liked it, please subscribe and consider donating to my Patreon, a link down below. It helps the channel, and I appreciate it so much. If you don't want to do that, you can also put a little tip down. Yeah. That was heavy. She's, I guess, more left. Like, she's not a complete leftist liberal, but yeah, center left, I guess, at this point. But yeah, she's got some insight, some things I don't agree with, but she's trying to find humor in the darkest of what's going on, which is commendable because most of us tend to just see what's going on and just get rage baited by the whole thing, because it's like the whole thing's just absolutely stupid.
A lot of it's absolutely stupid. But yeah, I mean, that was shoe on head. Has some great takes sometimes. Sometimes it's just like they're like, oh, poor girl. She needs a man to talk to her. She's not left. She is more left than she is well, right. But that's the thing. Like the more you go down the rabbit hole, the more you actually end up learning things, the more you end up becoming more center. That just happens for people who actually intend to learn and not trying to grift or go completely mentally ill, because they're the ones who are like on the far, like you can look at like Tom Piker and Nick Fuentes are literally there grifting. I doubt they truly believe what they say. They're there grifting for the bait of it, just for the income of it all. They're grifters. They don't believe in anything they say. They just say it because they know they're going to get a ton of money for saying it. And then you end up having the ones who are more center grade. And then they're the ones who believe those extreme lefts and extreme rights that end up becoming the same.
You guys got a video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait on that.